All right, so this year we're just going to be talking about the total trade E. So this mainly towards those who are in the what's it called? Who are in the FXP course, where we've discussed the concepts around this. So basically, we are looking at, as the name suggests, we are looking for um, I don't want to use certain words that people don't say treating their concept or that, but we're looking for liquidity swaps basically. And then we are looking to trade after that has been taken. Right. So I don't for so many people who don't really understand how to use this, I actually learned it from someone and then change it a little bit to suit what I do, using it as an entry method, and it works really, really well using it that way. So basically, the concept is you want a high to be taken. So if you're looking to sell, you want a high to be taken, and then price closes below it, and then you want to take your sell, right? So it's as simple as that. So um, usually we want to do this on the 1 hour, right? So we want to do this on the 1 hour. So this Monday we don't really like trading on Mondays as far as this is concerned. So just concentrate on this. So let's say we're looking to sell because USD was bullish for volume trend. So of course the majority of what you've been looking to do is to sell the EU, right? So took Asia I, right? Then you're looking for your entry mechanisms to come into play. Let me zoom in just a little bit more. Where was that? Right, that was here, right? And then price takes out that high and then closes below, and this becomes your entry. All right, so those who are in the FXB, they already understand where we use these things and all that. So I'm just going to delve into the EA. So I created EA to make actually taking this EA, this type of trades a whole lot easier. All right, so let's just delve into the settings. So if we go to supervisors properties, the first thing you need to set is what's the higher time frame. All right, so we are looking at most times it just needs to be 3. So this is going to set where your where the high of the day, whether you should be using the high of the day or the high of the week to set your SL and all that. Then you need to set the trade start time, right, and then the trade end time. Right. So the next thing is maintain Peter swing. So you can set this to true or false. So what it basically means is, let's say we are looking to sell on this day. So usually the way we trade, we don't want the previous day's low to have been taken when we are looking to sell. So that's basically what it means to maintain the previous day's swing, right? So it's up to you. You could decide I don't want to trade that particular way. I want to still sell even if the previous day's low has been taken, or I want to still buy even if the previous day's high has been taken. Then you could set that to false. Set that to false. The next thing you have there is use new trade allowance. All right. So if your last running trade, so that's basically what this means. So it's going to look at the last trade that you executed. So let's say you are selling, you sold, for instance, here this Monday, or you are selling, but let's assume you sold somewhere here, right? So it's going to check where your new entry is and compare to where the old entry is, right? So it wants to see that the new entry is 3 pips higher than the old entry. So that's what it means. So use new trade allowance through new trade allowance 3 pips. So it's going to ensure that the new entry you want to put is 3 pips above the old entry. All right, that's to just ensure that you're getting in a better entries, you're averaging in a better price and all that. So you can actually choose to turn it off and forget about it, right? Or you choose to leave it on. So the reason why I leave that, let's leave that as for those in the FSB. All right, so then the SL addition percentage. All right, so it's going to check from the close of this candle. So remember your entries are the close of this candle. So it's going to check from this place to the top uh, what is the number of pips, and then it's going to add 50 pips to it. Oh, sorry, 50% of this block. So 50% of that distance from the close to the high, and add it as your SL. So after it's done calculating that particular SL, then it's going to compare it to the minimum SL. So if you set a number here, what they're saying is, regardless of where the SL should be here, I want it to be at least 10 pips. Or I want it to be 15 pips, depending on the number that you set here. So this memo SL is going to determine where eventually the SL is going to be if the SL was lower than the figure that was set here. If you don't want to use this particular function, just set it to 0. All right, set it to 0, and it will take whatsoever type of setups that you get. Then use max SL. So want to check if our SL, if our TP will be hit before the weekly range is hit, right? So want to check if we take our trade from where it is, our TP, that's the second TP, our TP2, will it be hit before we get to 1 week's ATR? So that is what this basically does. So if your SL is too large, then that will happen. So it won't take the trade. So you can set it to true, you can set it to false, depending on your preferences. Now, risk per position is going to open 2 positions for each trade. So you need to be aware of that. It's going to open 2 positions. So if you set this as 0.5, what you're doing is that you're risking 1% on the trade. You're risking 1% on the trade. Then you have your entry allowance. Your entry allowance is from the close. All right, you want to give a space of about 0.5 bits, right? To say, oh, because sometimes after this closes, this just gaps down by like 0.2 pips, 0.3 pips, and all that. So you want to be able to still take your trades and not wait exactly for that entry. All right. So the next thing you have there is TP1. So your TP1 percentage, right? So if you set 100, that's 1 hour. 300 means 3 hour, right? So what if I want to take one boat trade to hit the same profit target? Just set it at whatever you want. So let's say you want to hit 2 hour on both trades, right, on both positions. So you can just set it 200, so this 200, and that does that. The max slippage 1.0 pips. All right. So if it's executing, you don't want it to. You don't want to have a slippage of more than 1.0. You could set that here. And the OB shifts and this other one, just forget about it. Then you can set your magic number, change it to whatever you want it to be, then change it to distinct number. Then you can set the days that you want to trade. So this helps you. So in case for whatever reason you have a pre-fog or whatever, and then you want to come and trade on the day you're not supposed to trade, or you've forgotten, or you're just excited and you want to trade, it's basically going to allow you to trade on that particular day. So by default, Monday set to false. I change it to true. You can change it to true as well, and then take the trades every day. So once you are done with that, you want to sell, you want to change this. So once you click on this, so what is going to happen is that this line is going to come to your chart, and I'm going to explain the purpose of this line. So this line, you're going to place this line on the liquidity you want swept. All right, you want to take this on the liquidity you want swept. Right, so this is the way it works. Now, I want this high to be taken and then price to close below it. That is the total entry, right? I wanted to take this high and then close below it. That's the total entry. So I'm going to place it right at a candle where I'm expecting them to take the high. If I was looking at previous day's high, then this should be here. All right, and then once this is taken and then close below, then I'm looking for my entry. Now, this is what happens if you leave your system on, right? If you leave your system on and you go away, and then all you need to do is actually to set the first one. So let's say I'm not on my charts, but I want to trade the Asian high. So I want a situation where once Asia is taken, then and closed, and then I begin to look for my entry basically. So what will happen is I need to just place it on Asian high, right? And once price goes above it, the EA begins to adjust this line automatically. So once a new high is formed, so this candle now, a new high is formed, is going to adjust this line right to that place, right? It's going to adjust the line to that point, and then this will be your entry to see this as an entry and take the trade. And of course, by the time it's taking the trade, it will also adjust this line to that top. So you're not going to get multiple trades, except price then begins to push up above this guy again, right? And then even if it closes below, remember your entry new trade row. If it's not three pips different, but whatever you set in that place, it's not going to take trade. So it just continues checking for new highs, new entries, and all that. So that's basically how that particular one works. So the main thing you need to do, especially if you are using the scribbler, there's a difference. You're not placing this here, you're not placing this at the other block or whatever, you're placing this at the high that you want swept, right? So you're placing this at a high that you want to. So if you're just owning your system for the first time, yeah, then this candle is forming, um, or this one is forming. Just place it right here, right? So this candle is forming. You feel it. Oh, okay, I might get an entry. I might not. Just place it on this candle, and then go to whatever you want to do. If this candle takes out this guy and goes below it, it's going to take the trade automatically. So that is all about it. I won't really be able to practicalize it at the moment because of the way it works. Uh, for it to take an entry, it must see the criteria to be met. This one must take out this and then close below. So it's not something that you could just trade randomly, like just say, okay, if I own it and all that's going to take a trade. No, it's not going to take any trade, right? It's not going to take a trade because it's going to be, you see, we have marked up this, right? Of course, my entry is still here. So even regardless of the markup, it's just showing me that this is where I have the high of the day, right? This is where I have the high of the day right now and all that, so that you could see where your entry where you should place in that line. So the only way it's going to take a trade is if I come here and drag this line right to this point, right? And then price goes up, closes up, takes this out, and then closes below. Then it's going to take a trade or begins to adjust to look for the right entries. All right, so that's basically how that works. Let me know your thoughts. Like I said, this one is just going to be available to those in the FXP, of course, April, free, of course, the end of April. To that, think about it. Of course, the trend engine is still available for everyone who is interested. So, the price has gone up. Like I mentioned it would last year. Oh, not by too much. Try to keep it a little bit reasonable. But I need to mention the fact that I don't want the trend engine to be widely available. But like those who want to sell EAs in continuation and all that, I actually don't want the trend engine to be too widely available. So I have about 40 or 45 copies over its lifetime. And 5 of those copies are going to be reserved because I know that eventually when I close it, some people want it by all means possible and going to reserve 5 copies. So only 40 copies are available. 12 of those copies have already been bought. So you know that the numbers really are small. So about 30 copies thereabouts is what's left for the year. Whenever it hits the numbers, that hit those numbers, that's it forever, except someone refuses to renew their license or whatever. It's going to be gone and gone for the good. All right. So the year has started again. So this is the sixth. We're recording this video on the 6th of January. Um, Continuing our market reviews, I'll be resuming the series on building profitable systems. For those in the FX records, we did some things around liquidity, around volume. I promised them we're going to be doing a fundamental bootcamp where we're going to be going into talking about um, we're going to be talking about the whole uh, data point of view, from a fundamental point of view. So interest rates, employment numbers, inflation, and all that, how they all come together, how to trade news events, right, and all that. So it's going to be an exciting period. If you're not in the FX because, right, we're there, 15 slots available for the year, and that is going to be that. All right, so do enjoy the rest of the time. Let me know what you think about this particular entry model and the EU itself. Thanks for watching.